Viewers, welcome to the Personal Injury Law Show. My name's Tony Carbone. I'm a personal injury lawyer of over 25 years experience. With me tonight I've got John Karantzis, a partner in a law firm.
Hi Tony, hi viewers.
And Nardine Hanna, a lawyer in a law firm in WorkCover. Good evening, Nardine.
Good evening, Tony. Hello, viewers.
Tony, what's in the news?
Viewers, there's been a lot of interesting stories in the last couple of weeks, but there's been this very tragic case of a fellow that died when he got jammed up in a freezer. What happened there, Nardine?
Well, it seems that this young 23-year-old had been trapped into a freezer of some sort, Tony, and he unfortunately passed in some quite horrific circumstances.
John, he was driving his forklift. It's very hard to imagine how he did it, but he's jammed himself in there, and I think he got caught in the freezer, minus 19 degrees Celsius.
He's caught there, Tony. They've eventually tracked him down and found him. However, soon after, he's passed away. Now, we'll await WorkCover's investigation. However, his family will have dependency claim, won't they, Tony?
For sure. Nardine, the spouse would have a lump sum dependency benefit, is that correct?
She would if there is a dependent or if he was in a de facto relationship, there would be entitlements for her underneath the regime, Tony.
And John, if there's children, they'll be entitled to benefits whilst they're at school?
Exactly, Tony. There's pension benefits, there's weekly payment benefits. So ideally, the family should get in touch with a lawyer and, pursue their benefits. But it's a tragic event.
What we'll do is we'll come back to it after there's been some findings and investigations in relation to how he died. There's an interesting story of incidents happening in the hospitals. Nurses are threatening to go on strike because they're saying they're getting constantly assaulted by people that are coming in that are alcoholised.
They're drug affected.
Nardine, what's your take on this?
Well, it seems that it's becoming more and more, unfortunately, prevalent in the hospital system, and more assaults are occurring with these nurses, and unfortunately they need to be protected just as equally as any other worker in any type of division.
John, they're asking for security guards. Is that appropriate?
Tony, they should already have security guards. Have you seen the hospitals on a Saturday night? It's like a mini war zone, Tony.
I think a lot of incidents that happen on those weekends are people that have been affected by alcohol and drugs. Is that a fact?
Exactly. And we've got nurses and employees, staff at hospitals working in a very dangerous environment. You and I both know the employer is required to provide a safe workplace. They have to provide extra security and protect the workers.
There's another twist to this, Nardine. If the person that's looking after the injured person is scared for their safety, they might not give them the best service anyway.
That's right.
They might just distance themselves, not do proper observations.
Exactly.
And take the pulse. Yeah.
Of course.
And if they know that there's a big burly security bloke watching over them as well, they can just get on with their job. Is that correct?
Exactly, Tony, and really in the end, all the hospitals are doing is opening themselves up to a negligence claim for damages, aren't they, Tony?
Exactly. But it doesn't just stop with the hospitals. What about this story about danger in the classroom? There's a lot of instances where teachers are getting belted these days.
Exactly, Tony. And again, schools, if they're on notice that the students are dangerous and violent, well, again, they have to either kick those students out or provide the appropriate security for the teachers.
It's more a question of cost, isn't it, Nardine?
It would be,
security
Tony.
guards, maybe CCTV cameras.
That's right, to be able to see if there could be appropriate funding for any types of means to be able to protect
we don't
these
want
clients.
to be in a situation like in America where as you enter a school, you have to go through a metal detector. We don't want that to occur. But at the same time, we do want teachers, nurses, police, and every other worker to work in a safe environment.
Exactly. I would have thought that it'd be inappropriate to have a security guard at a school, but it might be appropriate to have some CCTV footage, perhaps, or cameras.
Exactly.
Do you think that's, or is there a breach of privacy and those sorts of arguments?
Well, there could be. I think that would be an interesting point to explore.
There's all these issues. I guess, some of these kids are pretty intimidating, aren't they, John?
Look, they are, and 16, 17-year-olds, Tony, these days, they're big boys and big girls.
Oh, yeah. What about this other interesting story, viewers? Yarra Trams have issued a no chase policy to their inspectors.
It's an interesting development, Tony. It's a twist on what you and I see on the public service, on the tram network, where I've seen, 5 bouncers or tram inspectors.
They look like bouncers, don't they?
Well, they look like sitting on a person that apparently or allegedly has not paid their fare. So it's a different twist now. I'm not sure.
I think there's been a lot of instances where people have been injured, getting chased, hit by cars, or falling over and getting injured, and then trying to sue the inspectors for overreacting, and also their own workers. When you're chasing someone, there's a high risk of getting injured, isn't there?
Of course, for both the inspectors and then the members of the public as well.
So I think it's a cost benefits analysis. I mean, you're talking about a $3 fare perhaps, as opposed to someone getting injured and costing thousands and thousands of dollars.
It'll be interesting to see if there is a change in behaviour.
Yeah,
because at the moment there hasn't been, has there?
No. But look, that's a little bit like the police's no chase policy when, they're on the road.
Exactly.
You just don't chase on. They've got to make an assessment of safety.
Unless you have a police officer which commands another driver to get in the way of an offender, which occurred.
Well, that did occur, and
exactly.
that's subject to investigation at the moment,
and
John.
litigation.
And
exactly.
litigation.
Exactly.
Which I think you're representing one of them, aren't you?
Exactly.
So, Fisville's been ordered by the EPA to clean up their act. What's that all about?
It's an ongoing tragedy, not a story, a tragedy, Tony. The EPA has ordered that this site be cleaned up, but it's going to take years, Tony, and the damage has already been done, hasn't it?
Well, there's a lot of cancer-related deaths on the site. There's been about 20 people, give or take, that have had some sort of cancer coming from working at the Fisville site.
That's right, with all the toxic chemicals, yes.
And there was a lot of workers there over the years, wasn't there, John?
Exactly. And look, as you and I both know, we're representing quite a few now, Tony. There's a potential class action occurring in the future. This is a story that won't go away.
Why don't they just close it down until the place is cleaned?
I think, as you and I both know, money is an important ingredient.
I think that's the flavour of the month, isn't it? Where there's shortages of money right across the board.
Exactly.
We've got a budget coming up pretty soon, and there's issues there. So it's just crazy. The GrowCon March, John. What do you say about that?
Look, it's interesting take on workplace safety, Tony. In essence, we all agree that workers should go home at the end of their shift alive, not dead. So we agree. We all agree on that. But at the same time, there's ways of getting your message across, isn't there, Tony?
Are you aware of any breaches of AH&S by GrowCon, John?
A recent FOI, Tony, of workplace accidents by GrowCon has found quite a few breaches over the last few years, Tony. That's indisputable.
But have they been prosecuted for those breaches, Nardine? Are you aware of that?
Well, I'm not too sure as to prosecutions, but I think there have been some improvement notices been issued, yes, by WorkSafe.
John, when there's breaches of AH&S, what happens? Is there a prosecution or?
There may be, and that's where I think the union involved has an issue, as in not enough employers are being prosecuted, Tony.
Okay.
And you and I have seen that time and time again.
Look, we'll come back to this in the future, viewers. Send us your Twitter comments and Facebook if you want on this topic. We're going to go to a sponsors break, so please stay tuned. After the break, we'll be talking about a WorkCover update.